and welcome to the CultCast, the best hour-long Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. We have an old friend back with us. Welcome back, Lewis.
Hey, it's great to be back. My brand new, beautiful office.
It looks really good. It looks wonderful.
Sparkling.
Yeah, $1 million view. And we have D. Griffin Jones coming in from Ohio. Welcome, Griffin.
Good evening. Here in my brand old, adequate office.
Is it really evening there? I thought it was like 3 hours ahead.
I round up.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Well, this week we're going to talk about Apple's AI comeback. Yeah, they really are. They're coming back. A lot of Apple AI news this week that is putting the company back in the running. We have liquid silicone that we're going to discuss, whatever that is. iOS 26 Beta 5. Griffin's going to give us a tour of all the latest features, and there's actually one very controversial one that I think is well worth discussing. And then Griffin also has a very exciting hands-on with a very exciting iPhone case, which I'm really looking forward to.
What are the odds?
Yeah, it's going to be a big surprise. Griffin won't tell us anything about it because it's such a huge surprise and it's so exciting that we're going to have to wait.
Exciting iPhone case.
You might be thinking, how exciting could a single case be? But you only think that because you don't know how exciting it is yet.
That's very true. I've seen some exciting cases on Facebook, the ads. They always look really exciting, and then you click through and they're like, then they're actually not that exciting. But
And it's an iPhone case.
All right, let's get on with it. Lewis, let's talk about Apple's AI efforts.
Yeah, this is crazy. Rare all-hands meeting. Tim Cook, I'd say he reassured Apple employees that the company can still win at AI. Cook says, we've rarely been first. This is typical, right? We've rarely been first. There was a PC before the Mac. There was a smartphone before the phone. There were mini tablets before the iPad. There was an MP3 player before iPod. This is how I feel about AI. Okay, well, fair enough. Apple does tend to do that, show up late to the party, and then...
I don't want to ruin the flow, but it's a surprising admission, though, isn't it? Don't you think?
I think this is all about just acknowledging the situation they're in. They've been in all the headlines. Their stock is kind of flat for a long time. There's the contravening thing to this is they just keep losing people to other companies, AI workers to other companies. So I think this is all about sort of damage control, right? This came the day after their earnings call, which I missed. Thank God, due to a perfectly timed holiday. But I think they got questioned a lot about AI on that earnings call. Is that correct? Did you have the pleasure of listening to that one there, Leander?
I didn't. No. I unfortunately I missed that. I know I was devastated, but I guess, and obviously it's a hot topic. I just think it was odd that he would, be quite so frank about saying
they've always been upfront about that. Like, their whole philosophy is we're not first, we're the best.
Right.
Yeah. And they have yet to be the best as well. But.
Yeah. I guess it's the way it's, it appeared in the headline. It's just so frank and so, upfront about it that, and it's not, I guess it's not an admission of defeat, but it is a little bit defeaty. Well, it's in that.
Well, I don't know if you've ever worked at companies where things happen and embarrassing things happen and it's like, yeah, you just got to let people know, hey, we know what's going on. We know we're getting hammered with bad headlines and bad press. We know that Apple Intelligence is not, some amazing thing that everybody can't stop using every single day because it's so fantastic. They know that Siri is still garbage. They have already, admitted that that's delayed and explained why. And in fact, part of this, at this meeting, Craig Federighi, their software guy, gets up and basically reiterates what he already said in a previous interview or something. I can't remember exactly where that came from before, but he already said, hey, here's what happened. We tried this hybrid approach where we had, like normal Siri going one way and then the AI-powered super smart Siri kind of working in tandem, kind of the way that Apple Intelligence does right now, where Siri tries to answer a question, fails, and it says, would you like ChatGPT to answer that? By the way, my wife tries to use Siri like all the time. I didn't realize this, but on the trip that we were on, it's like she's constantly asking Siri, "Hey Siri, what about this?" Blah 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 blah. It's like it just was so pathetic. And
well, what do you mean? She's becoming this is how the kids use it. My niece, my young niece, it's all AI all the time.
I'm not saying that she's pathetic for trying that. I'm saying it was pathetic what Siri
Oh,
returned. And
okay.
and to make matters worse, she has this
Okay.
male Australian voice on Siri. And so it kept saying, "Hi, would you like me to ask ChatGPT to answer that?" It's just like, oh my god! It was driving me crazy. It was stuff like, how do I get to Rome? I don't know. Would you like me to ask ChatGPT to answer that? It's, good god. Anyway, so back to the story at hand. So at this meeting, let's see, Fred. Good God.
Federighi.
Federighi tells Apple employees, quote, "The work we've done on this end-to-end revamp of Siri has given us the results we needed." Wait, has given us? This has put us in a position to not just deliver what we announced, but to deliver a much bigger upgrade than we envisioned. There is no project people are taking more seriously. So that's a pretty strong rebuttal to all the headlines of like, oh, we're losing all of our best employees to the AI brain drain, and Siri's never going to get smarter and all that. Federighi also, he mentioned like the fact that they, I don't know how anybody at Apple wouldn't already know it, but talking about Mike Rockwell being put in charge of the Vision Pro team, fixing it. He says that it, quote, supercharged the effort. I guess I should mention all this comes from a Bloomberg report citing, quote, people aware of the meeting.
You don't have a meeting like that without expecting that it's going to be leaked. You write it knowing that it's going to be leaked. That's why you say some of the things that you say. This is like half pep talk for Apple employees to, encourage enthusiasm and get them excited about the mission so that they don't take the $200 million deal from Facebook. But then you also write it with the other audience knowing that it's going to be leaked and, have people exactly like us talking about it, which is what we're doing.
Right.
But Craig phrasing that in past tense is very interesting. The work we've done has given us the results we need. This has put us in a position to deliver, not just what we announced, but a much bigger upgrade than what they announced and delayed a year ago. So that's pretty fascinating. I don't know when we'll see the results of those. I mean, presumably, if he's saying it in past tense, like they already have this ready, probably the September iPhone event is when they would re-announce it again.
Well, they keep saying that this totally new Siri architecture is going to arrive in 2026. So I don't know if they're going to mention it at because they got beat up pretty bad for that too. Like, oh, this is great phones with Apple Intelligence, and then half the features didn't arrive for quite some time after the phones. Did you guys want to?
Well, what about September announcement and then iOS 26.2 beta goes out that day? It's in there.
I mean, that's what they did before, and they got
that. Well, before the new Siri wasn't in the betas at all until months later, and even then it was only half of what they announced.
a nice,
the least interesting
nice
half.
reassuring glow. I think this meeting was pure pep talk, and to round it out, Tim Cook also was doing his usual gushing about all the fantastic new products they've got coming. And this is totally Tim Cook. This quote here: "The product pipeline, which I can't talk about, it's amazing, guys. It's amazing. Some of it you'll see soon. Some of it will come later. But there's a lot to see." I mean, that's classic Tim Cook saying nothing.
It worked on me. I'm totally excited. That for him is effusive. I mean, that's, he's usually a lot more reserved. I mean, this is if you read between the lines, it really sounds like this new home product and.
Wait. It might have been Lewis giving a little too much emotion on that. Let me give it another reading. The product pipeline, which I can't talk about, it's amazing, guys. It's amazing. Some of it you'll see soon. Some of it will come later, but there's a lot to see.
Even the boring monotone doesn't
okay.
put a damper on my enthusiasm for this.
Can you put it through a southern drawl filter?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway,
well, the one question I had about why did they keep Siri around? Why were they trying to this hybrid approach to keep the old Siri, which has like a 20-year-old architecture or whatever, and was useless in the first place? Why?
Well, because there are certain things that AI still isn't good at. AI isn't good at taking like discrete instructions, like set a timer for this amount of time. You want that to be on like fixed traditional like computer logic. We're like, okay, this will call the timer app. This will set a timer for the exact amount of time that you said. AI isn't good at that. It's imprecise, and it's good at the squishier things like interpreting, a sentence and picking the right tools to use, like interpreting what you mean to do like a complicated thing to do an instruction that's never heard before. That's what it's better at. And so I think their tandem approach was like, yeah, when you want to send a timer, when you want to send a message to somebody, when you're giving like discrete, like computer text adventure instructions, you want that to be following, strict Boolean
rock solid,
programmatic
it'll
logic.
do what you ask it to do.
And that was
okay,
exactly the example that I think Federici used, was setting a timer.
Because that's what everybody uses Siri for 90% of the time.
And it
Exactly,
works 75% of the time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still excited, even if you guys are not. I think, I mean, it's going to be exciting year, isn't it? We did a post, Ed did a roundup, and I think there's like at least 19 products coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
most of those
folding iPhone.
Yeah,
Jeez. Super thin iPhone with a battery that lasts 28 minutes. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm excited for that.
Well, I'm excited for the the new Home Hub, the Home Pod with a screen, or the Home Pod you hang on the wall, or whatever it's going to be. What's that? It was a weird robot arm, right? It was strange.
I think the robot arm is delayed.
The exciting thing about that is that we genuinely have no idea what it's going to be or what to expect. So that's fun.
Something like the Amazon Echo Show, where it's a big speaker with an attached screen that follows you around.
Yeah.
I bought one of those a couple of years ago for my mom, and it's a little uncanny, cute and actually really useful. And did you see that? Do you remember that there was that video that came out of the Apple AI research team where they had that Luxo Junior robot that and the clever thing about that was how they gave it a personality, and how they indicated all these different emotions by movement. Like it would nod its head in agreement, or if it couldn't do something, it would shake its head. If it was listening, it would tilt its head to listen to you. And that would be amazing, I think, if they had a HomePod with a screen that could articulate in more directions and give you these kind of emotive feedbacks. I think that would be really, quite something, quite strange. A really good way. I think more so than a robot arm. What could a robot arm do to you if it was stuck on a table? I can't see a use case for that. Unless you put it by the sink and it washed up the dishes or something.
Slowly and poorly do one dish.
Yeah, right, and then smash it, drop it on the floor.
Mm-hmm. I think what it's going to be is a iPad Mini that mounts on the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly think that's not a bad direction for them to go in. Like when Google had announced their new line of Pixel tablets a few years ago that never took on because Android tablets are garbage. But like the interesting thing about it was that they had this accessory that was like, kind of like HomePod sized, but the top of it was at an angle, and you would just like magnetically attach your Pixel tablet to it, and then it would just be like turned it into a speaker with a screen. Or you could use the speaker like independently without it if you wanted to use your tablet at the same time, or you could use it as like a kitchen speaker thing. Like Apple already has all of these pieces. They already make the iPads. Everybody already has a big screen somewhere in their house. I don't think that would be a very bad idea for them to steal. But it sounds like they just want to create an entirely separate device with its own screen with all that built in, which, is, I guess, a more of an Apple move. But
yeah. And this is like rumored maybe the spring next year, spring 2026.
I mean, it was supposed to come out this year, right? Previously. But then, Siri put the kibosh on that because Siri wasn't up to the task.
I wonder if we will see it. Do you think maybe we will see it in the fall, September?
No, I think that'll be too early. I think spring of 26.
Okay. Well, we have some more AI news out of Apple, and this is that Apple is going to be building its own ChatGPT rival. Apparently, this is led by Rob Walker, who is. Does anyone know who Rob Walker is?
He is the person who led the failed AI Siri effort before.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good
Promising.
news. So, it's going to be called the Answers, Knowledge, and Information Team is, quote, exploring a number of in-house AI services with the goal of creating a new ChatGPT-like search experience. The, quote, answer engine system will reportedly crawl the web to respond to common user questions. The company may launch it as a standalone app with the same backend eventually powering search results across Siri, Spotlight, and Safari. So this sounds like a pilot program, a prototype. Apparently, the way to think about it is as a stripped down ChatGPT search experience. So Apple is also hiring engineers with experience in search algorithms and engine development for the team. And the team reports directly to John Gonorrhea.
Oh my God.
Gianandrea.
Gianandrea. That's why I couldn't help that. Apple's current AI head. So Walker. Oh, okay, here we go. So Walker previously spearheaded Siri, but was reassigned to the AKI team. Oh, AKI, after the failed Siri 2.0 rollout. Well, this sounds all very, very promising, given what we know. Was there any indication about when this is supposed to be coming out?
No, it sounds like it's still in the early development phase. I don't know how many good feelings I have about this product, but it sounds like they have the right person in charge to keep it in development hell. And so we never see the light of day.
Oh my God.
So,
Well, this is kind of ambitious, if this is potentially like, a Google killer, right? If it becomes the default search experience on, what is it, 3 billion iPhones, this could put Google in a serious position if it works, of course. It seems like this is obviously the way that computing is going, isn't it? And Apple obviously wants to own this. But look how they did with Maps and some other pretty ambitious projects. Maps was awful when it first came out, but it's since become the best mapping app on the web. I think it's better than Google Maps. It's better looking for sure.
Oh my God.
But the logic of it sometimes still, like the routes it gives you, that leaves something to be desired.
No, it's always the beautiful route, man. This is my wife and I argue about this all the time. She uses Google Maps and I use Apple Maps. So we're walking around in Europe and I swear to God, every time they'll send you like 2 different ways around a building. The Apple way is the nice lit path.
Really?
The other way is like some garbage strewn gutter. I'm like, it's a superior path in Apple Maps.
Wow, so you actually did it. You actually did a head to head.
Yeah, and oftentimes head to head. Lots of arguments. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, also my wife, I don't think she quite understands that if one of you goes this way around a building and the other goes this way around the building and you both turn, you end up in the same place. It's not a life or death fight, It's
Is that what you did then? So
a little bit. That happens a little bit. It's kind of hilarious.
Well, how does so she never got to experience the beautiful side of the building.
Yeah.
She was only looking at the back alleys and the.
Sometimes I can convince her to take the clean, well lit path.
Do you use ChatGPT, you guys? Are you using AIs more for search?
no.
I don't really use it that much for search just because you can't trust it. And when I search for something, I'm looking for information that is accurate. And, I don't know if when you use it in Apple Intelligence, right? It's do you want me to ask ChatGPT? At the end of every thing, there's this thing that says, basically, beware, ChatGPT information might not be accurate. Please check important facts. It's like, I bet you ChatGPT, every time they hear that, they're just like, oh, God, bristling with rage because it's just such an undermining statement, and it's every time that you use it in Apple Intelligence, you get that. But it's true. I mean, you cannot trust it without fact checking it. It might point you in the right direction. I mean, I use it for, tweaking writing, giving me ideas about, transition in a story or something. But I don't rely on it for actual information.
Well, what about how-tos and things like how to do certain things? Like that's my biggest use case is like, how do I do this or how do I do that?
Yeah, yeah.
I find it, unfortunately, it's uncannily accurate. But I say unfortunately because it doesn't do our publishing business any favors. But
well, I've had varying results. I mean, I was trying to get to the bottom of this Wi-Fi router problem I had a long time ago, 6 months ago, and it gave me these really in-depth, precise steps that seemed logical, but it didn't end up solving my problem. I don't know why.
I mean, the thing is, you can't always trust that either, because there was a big story in 404 Media about this software development company. They were making like some popular app. I don't remember what app it was that they made, but ChatGPT somehow decided that this app had this particular feature, and so a lot of people kept asking about it, like, hey, how do I get this feature? I'm not seeing this feature because ChatGPT was telling them it existed and it didn't. So they had to add it.
Right. And that's the thing. Everything looks completely up and up. You read it, it sounds completely authoritative. But you also I've tried some of these things. Like people say like, oh well, use it as a travel planner. So I actually tried that for this trip. I was like, just give me a 5-day itinerary between here and here, and it comes up with just mundane kind of things. I mean, some of them were actually things we had already done. Because it was like halfway through this thing, right? And it's like, okay, well, that's actually pretty accurate, and I would definitely say that's a good recommendation, but. It's just, I don't know, man. It's a
and I think the question is,
weird.
do we think that Apple is going to make a better version of this than all of these other companies? I don't know.
I don't know how they can. I think they're so hobbled by their privacy concerns and everything,
Well, yeah, but I was reading about that. Like an AI researcher had a really pretty good essay about the dangers of these things, and even Sam Altman warned, like, be careful about using ChatGPT as your therapist, because anything you tell it, it's not protected. There's no legal protections to this.
And there was actually just a giant leak of ChatGPT conversations. All of these, like, I think 140 million conversations have been leaked, and they're now on archive.org for anybody to download.
Oh my God.
I mean, I do like that Apple is. I trust them. Mm-hmm. I trust them much more than I trust any other AI company. And I think if they do come up with a ChatGPT alternative, I would be much more comfortable using it because of their concerns about privacy and security.
I think the question is, how would this product make Apple money? Because the big question that they're facing right now is, is the Department of Justice going to cut off Apple from their $20 billion Google deal to be the default search engine that's, accounting for like 30% of their services revenue, which is, 30% of their entire revenue of their company. Like, replacing it with their own product that has adds more cost to Apple than it makes the money. I don't see where's
the upside?
Where does Apple make money in this product?
Wouldn't it be that, the model now, which is to use it as a feature to sell more hardware?
Do people want this?
I think it's clearly this is the way it's going. I don't think there's any stopping it.
Yeah, but do people actually want it? Is that going to make more people buy an iPhone? If they come out with their version of the same thing that everybody else is selling too, like it's not a special product. It's not a thing they're inventing, and it's not a thing that people care about or really want.
Well, I think that the trust and privacy thing was a differentiating factor. If it evolves like Apple Maps does, it starts off a bit rocky, but then becomes great. It could becoming a highly differentiating feature of the devices because it's not spying on you. But I hear your point. Yeah, we'll see. There's going to be an interesting transition, isn't there? I mean, Google itself is facing this. It's in an existential crisis in a way. I mean, its own AI, Gemini and the AI-driven searches is upending its whole and the whole business model of the web. All right, let's move on to let's move on to something more fun. And there was this was a fun rumor, I thought, actually, and these actually look really cool. So they were talking about a leak about some liquid silicone cases coming for Apple for the iPhone 17 lineup. That's right, Griffin?
Yeah, so Apple reportedly refers to these new cases internally as, quote, liquid silicone, according to leaker Majin Buu, who shared detailed information in a blog post on Wednesday. The cases are expected to come in two variants. One features a, quote, liquid glass effect with an opaque satin texture, and another without that special finish. We're also seeing like two different designs here in the post. The liquid silicone material could feature a soft surface with a velvety finish, positioning it as Apple's primary case material for the mass market. However, early samples reportedly show some limitations, including a tendency to attract dust and potential wear at the edges over the time. So I guess no worse than fine woven in that regard.
I was going to say, this is fine woven 2.0.
Yeah, I feel like Apple silicone cases have changed in their material science a bit over the years. They used to be like really tacky and sticky. I actually, when I had the iPhone 17e, I got their, silicone case for that. And I was really impressed with it. I thought the material was really nice. It didn't, turn your pockets inside out when you pulled it out of your pocket. It had really nice, button feel on that. Oh, Lewis has it right there. It's a nice case.
I love it. It feels great in your hand. And you know what? it doesn't get dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, I really this is the first one I've had in a long time, and it's held up well, and it even like taking it in and out of my sweaty pockets on that trip, for a month and setting it down in strange restaurants and bars. It's held up great, and it feels fantastic. I love this. I hope they don't screw it up.
Mine's so disgustingly filthy though that I don't really want to.
What are you doing with that thing?
I know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so maybe this will be like an additional option in the lineup. Maybe it'll replace it. Who knows at this point? Interestingly, though, both Majin Buu and fellow leaker Duan Rui, I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, reported that Apple plans to add lanyard support to its iPhone 17 cases, similar to the feature found on AirPods Pro 2 charging cases. Duan Rui's image shows 2 potential lanyard attachment spots, both in the bottom left and in the bottom right of the case, sitting on the corner there. Other photos show a completely different design that's a little bulkier and doesn't look very Apple-like at first look. It's got these ripples on the back and big exaggerated corners. I guess for additional drop protection, which would be interesting because, the one case that Apple sells right now doesn't actually protect it against like super serious drops. Apple's never made like a super intense drop it from 100 feet style case before. But that seems to be what this one is about. And, I wouldn't be surprised if they do carry on, a slightly tweaked version of their existing case. And then this new liquid silicone case, I mean, new name, new material. Maybe it's got extra protection. Maybe you drop it and it bounces more rather than rattles around on the ground and shatters. So,
well, the lanyard, the lanyard thing would kind of surprised me. Do you see people with lanyard cases, iPhone cases?
No,
I mean,
but really.
But I was thinking about this. If it's super easy to take that lanyard on and off, and I mean, can you imagine people using it for like all the videos they do, do skateboarding or on roller coasters, all this crap where they're doing all this crazy stuff, capturing this amazing footage. I mean, that would actually be awesome. I mean, there are times when I was taking pictures on that vacation. I'm standing there taking a picture, holding my phone out over a bridge, and I'm like, I better not drop this. And I mean, especially for people who are doing adventurous things, not just taking pictures off of bridges, I think it could be actually pretty cool.
Interestingly, this isn't Apple's first rodeo with lanyards. Neither is the AirPods Pro 2. There was one particular model of iPod Touch that I think relatively last minute into the design process, they had to like cut an internal component from it. And they had just a little bit of empty space inside the case. And so they decided to add a little lanyard loop. Like it was a little button, you clicked it out, it popped out. Then you could like strap in your lanyard and click it back in and it would be locked in place. What? And that seemed like a pretty clever design that's a little more user-friendly. But from what we're seeing on these cases, it's just like the standard, like, 2 holes in it. Like you stick a lanyard through it and then you have to manually fiddle with it and tie a loop around it.
Forever, the MacBooks used to have, what are they called? Those a security hole.
Oh yeah, the Kensington Secure Lock.
Yeah, but when did they discontinue that? That hasn't been on there for
I think when they went unibody in 2008.
Okay. So it's been a while then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the iPod Touch. That's crazy. It had a pop-up.
Yeah, a little silver pop-up button. Like you clicked it and then it clicked out, and then you had like Apple even designed their own lanyards for it that had like a little hole in it. Like you loop it around and then you click the button back in and then it's secured.
Wow. Yeah, I don't remember saying that at all.
It only lived for that one generation because I think in the next generation they added a camera to it and it filled the space. But
yeah,
it was interesting.
These cases sound fascinating. The liquid silicone glass effect. I mean, that's going to be something to see if it's. If it really is like that.
The interesting thing, they describe it as a liquid glass effect, but then they also describe it as an opaque satin texture. And liquid glass is not opaque or satin. That, if anything, describes more iOS 18 than liquid glass. Maybe they have like these rumors a little conflicted and they're going to start calling their clear cases liquid glass cases.
Have you seen two-tone cloth, where they weave in 2 different colors and it's almost like those 3D pictures. So if you look at it from one angle, it appears green. If you look at it from another angle, it looks blue. And this stuff shimmers. And it's actually quite it's an amazing effect from a fairly simple design. It's just cross-weaving 2 different colors of thread. So maybe they can do something similar with Silicone.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We have very little time to wait.
Yeah, right, exactly. How long? It's rumored to be
Literally a month from now. Yeah.
September 8th.
I'll be somewhat shocked if there's a big bulky one like that one black image in the post.
I mean, the Apple Watch Ultra surprised me. That is a very chunky, industrial looking design. When the Apple Watch Ultra, I think like the CAD designs for the Apple Watch Ultra leaked like the week before the announcement. And I looked at the design and thought, ooh, so they've got like this big protruding display, this big protruding thing on the side. I almost wonder if this is like an Apple Watch that's been designed to have like, a metal case with like a rubber thing around it to fill the gaps, the things that protrude. And I was astonished when that wasn't the case. And it was just, nope, it's just shaped really weird and looks like that.
Yeah.
So let's give thanks to our sponsor this week for helping us put out this show. Griffin, you're going to talk about Factor.
Yeah. So, as it's been top of my mind all summer, the iPhone and iOS release season is almost upon us. It's very busy for us here at Cult of Mac, and between that and summer plans, sometimes all you've got is a couple minutes. And Factor helps me eat smarter every day with tasty, chef-prepared meals that are dietitian approved and delivered right to my door. And now with more than 65 weekly meals made for how I live and what I like to eat, they've got a whole manner of selections. You've got more ways to stay fit with a real meal wherever the day takes me, even if you only got a couple minutes before you have to do a podcast and you forget that it's now at an earlier time of 12:30.
How could that happen?
This is complete fiction, inspired by a true story, we'll say. More variety, more meals. They've got like a wider selection of weekly meal options. They're adding more all the time. And with seafood choices like salmon and shrimp. And I know what you're thinking, microwaved salmon and shrimp. How could that possibly be good? You'd be surprised.
It's somewhat magical.
Yeah. They have GLP-1 friendly meals. I don't even know what those are, but they have them. And new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good for you fats. More choices with better nutrition. That's why 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. And you can't argue with those statistics. It is really good food. I enjoy having them whenever they're delivered to my doorstep. Eat smart at factormeals.com/CultCast50off and use code CultCast50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code CultCast50off at factormeals.com for 50% off plus free shipping. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor.
Let's move on to our how-tos. And so this week we saw a new beta of iOS 26, beta 5, which I actually just downloaded and installed. And there's a couple of controversial changes here. And Griffin was going to give us a tour of all the new features and changes. Or, I don't know about all of them, but anyway, some of the major ones, right?
They're sort of we're getting a clear picture as to what iOS 26 at this stage. The changes are getting a little smaller, but one important change that I am very happy about. So starting with the previous beta, iOS 26 changes the default camera behavior, making the camera mode picker at the bottom of the screen scroll the opposite way as before. I argued vehemently with Graham about this when he was on the show 2 weeks ago, and they've made more changes. They've fixed it, kind of. There's now a setting that returns it back to the old style where you swipe your finger on the bottom of the screen and all of the items scroll with your finger. But it's a setting that you have to enable in camera settings. You have to go to settings, and then right here at the bottom of the camera settings, you can enable classic mode switching, which is kind of buried. By default, what it does is it scrolls the opposite way. Like you drag your finger this way and all of the options go the other way because you're moving the bubble instead of the items underneath them, which is a little counterintuitive and doesn't work the same way as, Safari, which has a kind of similar interface, but they've added a setting there. So I guess technically I should be happy, but I don't know. How do you feel about this?
I actually prefer the other, the new way where you move the button. That seems
really?
It seems completely intuitive, to me. And I know I was a little bit surprised when I first did it. I was like, hang on a second, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. But it feels like you're moving the button over the top of this dial.
They did tweak it a little bit in Beta 5, where now the button doesn't stay centered, like fixed in the middle of the screen. It does kind of move with your finger a little bit. So there is at least some element of things moving along with your finger. I don't know. I think my muscle memory of like opening the camera and swiping left to right to switch to the video mode away from photo mode, that muscle memory is just like too ingrained in me. So
Yeah.
I'll be keeping on classic mode switching, at least for the time being.
Well, there's definitely a lot of bleating about it on the web, and it was actually kind of funny, they put this setting in. I mean, there was this the backlash caused a backlash in itself. Whereas I saw some people complaining that, well, Apple used to have the courage of its convictions, and it was, you're holding it wrong kind of
It does
situation.
seem like a kind of silly thing to have a setting for. They probably should just have an opinion, but nonetheless.
Well, there's a few now, aren't there? I mean, there's that's the phone app as well. You can switch back to the old interface, and isn't there another one as well?
Safari, you can switch back the toolbar to the full set of buttons on the bottom.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Other changes, though, they've changed the airdrop icon for the first time in a while. No longer is the airdrop icon just a dot with a bunch of lines around it. Now it's sort of abstracted to be like, layers of liquid glass with a pizza slice taken out of it.
Looks like a mountaintop with a.
It does. I'm not sure. It might be a little too abstract. I'm not sure what it really conveys anymore, but.
Yeah, talking of people were saying this, the iTunes Store icon. I don't know if you can see it there. It's now some weird star, and someone said, "Oh, I hope this is a bug," because if you do look at it, it does look really comically bad. It sticks out. I mean, I haven't opened the iTunes Store for probably a couple of decades, but yeah, people were not happy about that icon.
The other two major changes are on the iPad and the Mac. Now, when you're connected to an external display, iPad OS permanently shows the menu bar on that external display. It's always visible there. It's not just when you mouse over it, making it more computer-like. The controversial one, Apple has changed the default icon on the Mac for the Macintosh HD internal hard drive. It no longer looks like an old spinning hard drive. It's this sort of metal block with an Apple logo on top and a bunch of like lines and circles on the bottom. Which
Did it look like anything to you? Is it supposed to be an SSD?
The actual chip inside your computer is just a chip. I think they're sort of modeling it after like an external SSD, like the kind of thing that you would plug into your computer, like with like a Samsung disk or something like that.
Yeah, portable one. Yeah.
Although interestingly, Apple has never made a product that looks like that. Maybe that's what it would look like if they made an external hard drive. But I'm not terribly opposed to like the broad idea of updating that icon.
Right.
What annoys me is that it doesn't have any perspective. It's like completely flat and orthogonal. So the design of the top just doesn't match. Like if you were looking at a physical object like that, you would either be able to see the top perfectly flat or the front of it perfectly flat. It's at no angle whatsoever, although it still drops a shadow. It's this weird mix of 3D and abstraction that doesn't work in my eye.
Is it wider at the top?
Yeah, it would have to be wider at the top for it to be completely flat like that because there's no perspective at all.
I could see why they got rid of the old one, though. I mean, the old one looks like a disk drive you'd take out of a PC in 1996 or something.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Got a fan on it and all that. Isn't that what that is? A fan? Looks like it.
Well, forever. It was like in Microsoft in Word, the save icon was an old floppy disk, wasn't it? They didn't change for years.
It still is, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess once people get used to it, I mean, there's something to be said for that, isn't there? That, keeping it consistent for generations.
I mean, the old one still does look like, oh, that's a computer part. It's a part that goes inside a computer, even though it might not be, a computer part anymore. I mean, I still have spinning hard drives sitting on my desk, but that's only because I want 32 terabytes of storage. But and they redesigned this icon to make it more in line with all the other icons that they have for like network attached storage or like a network drive or an external drive. Like they're all in that sort of style of being like an oblong rectangle with rounded edges on it. But I mean, give them a little bit of perspective if you're going to make them that realistic looking.
I'm gonna have to go ask ChatGPT what orthogonal means.
Orthogonal means there's no perspective. It's just like a fixed projection.
I still don't understand.
Okay.
Well, talking to the betas, I mean, the reader question this week is should you install the betas at this point? And I say yes, but I'm also kind of reckless and install the betas on all my devices from the very get go and suffer the consequences. And a couple of times it has burned me. But they're pretty late in the cycle now, and we're only a month away from its release. There's going to be maybe one more or two more
One or
before
two.
it becomes
Yeah.
a release candidate. I personally like on my iPhone, it's been stable. It hasn't burned up my battery or melted my device. Almost everything seems to work fine. I don't recall any glitches actually. The computer less so. Mac OS. That things weren't working. Slack didn't work for the first couple of betas, which was like a big problem. But and on the iPad, yeah, that's been fine as well. So I say, yeah, go for it. What do you guys think?
Beta 5 is a world better than betas 1 through 4. Beta 5 is actually pretty clean. There are still a bunch of bugs. Like a lot of animations are broken. Like, you summon the share sheet and it grows up, and then the background completely changes like a fraction of a second later. Transparencies of different things like pop in and out of opacity. Like it's weird like that. But broadly, this has been far more stable. I think this is now stable enough to where you can install the betas on all of your devices if you really want to. And in fact, in preparation of the Mac OS Tahoe, list of features that I'll inevitably have to write in mid-September, I installed Tahoe on my main Mac, so I'm living with that now.
Wow.
And it hasn't been too bad.
Yeah, and do you like it? The new interface, the new look of things?
I'm getting used to it. The giant round corners make a lot of apps, look kind of like toy-like. It's like going from Lego to Duplo with the giant rounded corners and how much bigger everything is. But I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would. One of my biggest design problems with the old design of macOS is that it was really hard to differentiate between active and inactive windows. Like, this app is in the foreground, so all of its toolbar buttons are a very slightly darker shade of gray on white, and all of the background windows will be the same shade of white but with slightly lighter shades of gray buttons on them. Something that surprised me about macOS Tahoe is that foreground and background windows are now much more differentiated, because the drop shadows on the new giant sidebar, all of the big circular buttons, the drop shadows on all of those window dressing elements and controls disappear when they're not the active window. So it's actually easier to differentiate foreground and background windows in Tahoe than before. Of course, with one advancement in that regard, there's a bunch of other regressions. Like screenshots have been going like viral on Mastodon of somebody's deleting a file and a pop-up comes up and it says, and there's like a checkbox that's like practically invisible because it's it's only like 2 shades darker than the white checkbox than the white pop-up behind it.
Yeah.
You win some, you lose some.
That whole screenshot stuff, I think was maybe just a little bit misleading. The whole liquid glass debate, and they're showing screenshots that are illegible, and you really can't see what's going on. But in use, I haven't had any of those issues at all. And I mean, you do get that with occasionally, don't you? With, I don't know, it's not really a problem if you move something. If you can't see it, you move it. It's problem solved. I liked it a lot. I think it's, just the new, when you install it, you get this whole new splash screen. You get this beautiful screensaver that is a Lake Tahoe, and you can see all the waves moving, the ripples on the waves. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And I was really excited. I thought, oh my God, I've got a brand new computer. And that's what it totally feels like to me. I mean, I love the excitement of these new OSs. It's such a huge refresh. And if there's glitches, there's a problem, just deal with it.
I've been developing an app like on and off for like the last 2 years or so, and now I need to rebuild it for Tahoe because it has the old design, and the icon that I drew is in the gray penalty box, so I need to make a new icon for it.
Good luck. Mm-hmm. Good luck. Good luck. Let's talk about this week's featured setup because the user had a lot of eye strain. He was getting his eyes were getting tired and blinking a lot. I know a lot about that. So he spent a lot of time tweaking his setup so that it would reduce his eye strain. And for those who can't see this, we're looking at it's like in a corner of a room. It's a small desk. It has a MacBook Pro on a stand, which is connected to an Apple Studio display. And in front of it, he's got a really nice looking Magic keyboard and Magic trackpad. They're all in the space gray to match the hardware of the MacBook Pro.
And those are sitting on like this nice black felt desk mat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's got, I think the lighting here is key. He has a BenQ screen bar monitor light that's sat atop of his studio display that's casting light down over his keyboard and over his Mac. And there's also I guess, what is that, one of those ring lights, I think, for on the right-hand side behind the MacBook Pro, there's a ring light, I think, that probably is used for, it's not on right now, so it's not used to reduce his eye strain. I guess it's just for the, if he's going to do video calls. And then the windows are shaded. So even though there's a big window there, there's one of those paper cellular blinds that you pull down that seems to cover most of the window. So he's, making sure that light isn't coming in from behind him. And the light is sort of downcast, which I believe, he did a lot of time tweaking this to make sure that it helped his eyes and his eyesight. So the lighting looks to be very important here. And then behind it, there's some kind of weird letter holder with a bunch of letters in it. And then to the left, there's some tapestry thing hanging on the wall.
The letter holder is interesting because he's got like this sort of like accordion, like file folder thing on the wall with a bunch of papers just like haphazardly sticking out at all manners of angles. So it's got to be stuffed with paper if they're all sticking out like that. He didn't make any attempt to clean that up before he took this picture. What are we drinking? He's got a few drinks on the corner of his desk, 2 cans of Waterloo tropical fruit sparkling water, a can of yerba mate. I don't know what that is. I'm
Yerba
not sure.
mate.
Yerba mate, yeah. It's a revolting drink from from south of the border.
Yeah.
I know. People are going to be outraged about that, but the stuff I've had is unpalatable.
He has a car key sitting behind his computer, like way back there in the background. So he's going to lose those. He won't see them when he needs to go for a drive.
I didn't even see that. Oh, there it is.
He has
God.
5 pairs of glasses sitting on this desk. I know he talks about like, I wanted to get a pair of computer glasses. That's, reducing blue light. I think a lot of those studies have turned out to, kind of be garbage. And, the blue light concern is kind of made up. But nonetheless, everybody thinks that they need computer glasses now. And this person has apparently bought 5 pairs that he leaves.
Well, he bought, I think you can see the lenses there. I think they're replaceable lenses. So he bought a pair of glasses where you can replace the lenses, so you can experiment with the different lenses, different magnifications. And he, I can't remember how much this kit costs. You can get a kit on Amazon that I think is fairly inexpensive. But that was really interesting to me because obviously I have the same issues, and I was definitely going to experiment with this to try the same thing. I think it's fairly cheap. I think they're in $20 or $30 for a pair of glasses where you can change the lenses out and see which ones suit you best.
He also talks about shading the window, but he bought a window shade that only covers the bottom half of the window. There's still a lot that's peeking out from above. So
perhaps he should put his accordion letter holder over the top of the window.
Maybe higher up there. I will compliment him though. He's done a nice job with cable management. He has the kind of desk that has like the hole in the back that you can like route all of your cables down into. Good job there. It's not a lot of cables strewn about.
Although there's that one cable on the right though, that's all wrong.
No.
That should go down through the hole along the bottom of the desk and then up the back.
Oh my God.
Well, that's the cable that plugs the MacBook Pro into the studio display. So you want that cable to be accessible.
Still, it's wrong.
You can plug it in on the other side though, I guess. Like don't the MacBook Pros have a Thunderbolt cable on either side?
I believe so. Yeah, they should do. Yeah, my altogether, it's a nice setup. Yeah, I see the car key though. Yeah, you're right. He's never going to find that. I hope he has Find My. Although it won't work with his car keys. Maybe he's got an AirTag on it.
Yeah. What do you work at a setup like this? Would you be happy?
I mean,
I would. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and especially if it reduces eye strain as he claims. I think this guy's experimented a lot with, and I think it took him a long time, months and months, maybe years, to dial this in. And I think he was saying that this finally was his. He finally nailed it. He finally managed to reduce his eye strain. So if that is true, yeah, I'm going up there for 9.
I like the idea of the, like that kind of see-through window thing. Because I have giant blackout curtains behind my monitor screen because I cannot bear looking at the screen with any sun coming in. But those, I never even thought about that. Those sort of, what is it called? You call them like accordion blinds or something?
I think they're called cellular, cellular,
right, yeah.
cell blinds. And they're great because usually they're self. Whatever it is, yeah, and they just pull up and down. I've got some blackout ones in my bedroom, and they work great. All right, so let's move to the highlight of the show. This is what we've all been waiting for. Are you ready, Griffin?
Yes, I'm going to switch to camera 2 here.
Oh my God, it's an envelope.
Yes, we're looking at a yellow envelope. I'm going to take the case box out of the bag, and we have this case from a company called CaseQ that I've never heard of before. Called the box says that it's the Magic Stand, and you can see some holographic images on the front of it.
CaseQ.
Yeah,
that's very, very cool.
Now, this is not the case that they sent me. I don't know why they sent it in this box. They sent me a different case, but we're going to take a look at that inside.
What is going on?
There's a very good reason for that. This case is a very bright orange, which is the first clue.
Is that orange?
It
looks
it's inside.
pinkish.
I'm going to take it out
here.
here.
Oh, it's coming out of the envelope.
Mm-hmm. Because
okay, now that is orange.
Yeah. This case is interesting because this is not an iPhone 16 Pro case. This is an iPhone 17 Pro case that they have sent me to look at. They say that this color of orange they have matched to the color of the iPhone 17
Pro.
Way.
Wow.
I will say that the build quality doesn't seem excellent, so maybe this case manufacturer isn't, top tier. Like they have a little camera control cut out here that's a little wobbly where the thin part of the case is. So what I'm going to try and do and see if I can fit my iPhone 16 Pro inside it and see how close of a match it is.
If that's really the color, that's going to be hot.
Yeah. They've sort of gone for a chrome, shiny plastic finish. I don't know if that's...
Yeah, it's got like an Iron Man suit kind of vibe to it.
Mm-hmm. So let's see how close of a match it is. If you can fit a 16 Pro inside. Stretch it. Oh, yeah. It fits pretty well. I think the rumor is that maybe the 17 Pro might be a little bit larger, so it feels like there's a little give around the edge of it. But yeah, you can see when you have the phone inside a case, there's a big gap around the camera plateau. Like it spans the whole width of the phone. There's this cutout for the camera flash and LiDAR sensor that my phone isn't, lining up with. But I think this is broadly telling us that cases will be backwards compatible. Like, you buy a 17 Pro case, it'll still fit a 16 Pro case. A 16 Pro phone kind of reasonably. Not a big change in dimension there.
But the Apple logo, it's centered. The rumor was it was going to move down lower, but one is lined up perfectly with your old logo.
Not quite centered. The Apple logo of the phone, the 16 Pro, is sitting a little bit too high inside the MagSafe ring of the 17 Pro case.
So maybe there is some truth to it then. It's going to move, but like about 3 millimeters, not...
Yeah. You'll notice there's no camera cutout on the top. So I think that puts that rumor to bed. Not that we really believed it anyways.
Oh, debunked. Totally debunked. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. But if this is the shade of orange it is, then I think we have a good reason to be excited.
That's definitely not muted. That's not some horrible pro color. That's a nice poppy color. Mm-hmm. Maybe do you think it'll be a bit more matty?
Yeah, I think that they maybe just gone for like a sort of shiny finish and like this is the shade that it'll be, but probably not the optical, quality of, what Apple's finish is going to look like.
And how much of the camera bump at the back? So it'll look more orange at the top there, won't it, on the camera bump?
Yeah, no, I just noticed the design of this case, the camera bump isn't completely open. They do have a little plastic strip that sits between the 3 lenses and where the flash and LiDAR sensor will go. And I'm noticing that the little plastic bridge they have there has some give to it. but that tells me that maybe like the glass plateau is going to be a little higher. I can imagine fitting like a 17 Pro inside here. It probably wouldn't have that much wiggle to it.
Yeah, it would sit flush with the elevated camera island.
Yeah. And, fiddling around in my hands, it does feel like there's a little wiggle in here. So maybe the 17 Pro will be getting a little bigger, maybe a little thicker, but just slightly. It's hard to tell how much of that is, this has been sized for a slightly bigger phone and how much of it is, this is a slightly imprecisely made case.
Yeah, well, it's obviously one of the, I guess a prototype. Maybe they'll tweak the design. I like that that stand though, the pop socket thing.
That is very clever. Yeah, that's a neat thing about this case. It has the sort of MagSafe ring around it flips down, so you have a stand if you want that you could use.
Is it sturdy? It looks
pretty sturdy. It has a bit of resistance when you adjust it up and down, so it feels pretty nice.
That looks like a nice case.
Mm-hmm. Lewis, I don't think we've gotten your opinion on the colors since you've been gone the last 3 weeks. What do you feel about this shade of orange?
I think I've been craving a bright orange phone forever. My concern is that it'll end up being less flashy than that case, less flashy than it could be. It'll end up looking like I don't know, either like a copper tone ad, from remember that that
or some
old
kind
stuff,
of rusty.
Yeah. Like it'll just be a little too mature, or it'll be more like a dreamsicle, like it'll be like somehow what I would really like to see is something that's just like completely like glittery, sparkly, like an old carnival ride. That's what I always think they need to do, or bright red, even just a bright red product red iPhone Pro. I swear people would go for it, but
Yeah. Well, we've had this debate, like, ad infinitum, like for the last 3 weeks, talking about these colors. But I, totally agree. Yeah, the product reds are some of the nicest looking colors that they do. I think
quite bold colors. Yeah,
and the ultramarine or aquamarine for the current the regular iPhone. That's a lovely looking color.
Right. Yeah. I can't wait to see what it actually looks like. I hope that it's a real like standout kind of gorgeous orange. I'm a little afraid it'll be kind of muted and apple-y.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. We'll see in a month. So what was the name of that case again, Griffin?
This is I don't know if they have a name for this particular case yet, but the company that sent it to me is called Casekoo, Casekoo. And
Magic
this is called
Stand.
The Magic Stand. Maybe this
like
actually
that.
is the Magic Stand.
Yeah.
It's not holographic, I'll tell you that much, but it does have a stand.
All right, very cool demo. Well, I think we should wrap up there. That's about all the CultCast we have for you this week. But if you want to continue the fun, Lewis is on Twitter at Lewis Wallace. Griffin's on Mastodon and Blue Sky at dgriffinjones. And I write every day the Cult of Mac Today newsletter, which you can get at newsletters.cultofmac.com. So please send us a text using the link at the top of the show notes or in the YouTube comments and ask us a question for the show, and we'll do our best to mess it up. This has been the CultCast, the best hour-long Apple conversation you're going to hear all week. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night, and I want to thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next time. Have a great weekend.
Goodbye.
Woohoo!
All right. Cool. That was a great demo again. That was really good. I like these.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and the screen sharing too. I think it's working.
How did you do the? You're using that? I can't ever remember what it's called, but that feature where the phone camera can show the desk. What is that called?
No, I'm not using that. That's called Desk View. I'm using an app to capture my video called Camo, and I have 2 iPhones plugged into my computer right now. One on top of my display, one on a tripod on the right side of my desk. And what I did is in Camo, switched which phone was active. And so that switched it while keeping this video live, changing the image that it's receiving. But Camo can do that pretty seamlessly.
Cool. Yeah. I remember you wrote an awesome apps post about Camo.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, great. All right, cool. Well, I better get on with the newsletter.
All right.
I think I might have to take a break and get some lunch before the thing started. Sorry, Leander.
Yeah, well, I'll try and push it together. All right, great job, Griffin. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys later, okay?
See ya.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.